This is from Twitter. This is from @MismatchPhilly on Twitter. So his question is, what do you think is the thing Maxey needs to work on the most to take that next step as a player? Is it becoming more of a passer now that he has a reliable third option in Paul George? Or is it working on his defense so he isn't the weakest defender on the floor and doesn't get attacked in the pick and roll?
Go ahead, Teja. You got it.
All right. So I think, to be fair to him, I think he has improved at both things. Assist-wise, I'll start there. So 2 years ago to last year, he jumped from 3.5 to 6.2, and that was really his first real starting full season as a point guard. He was a rookie, young buck, and then he had James Harden there. So he kind of didn't have a full-time defined role as a point. Last year, he had that. 6.2 put him at 20th, tied with SGA. I don't think anyone's questioning SGA's passing ability. So they're averaging the same amount of assists. I think it should go up with the more weapons we have. I don't know what kind of exact role they're going to give him and tell him, he's going to shoot less, shoot more, be more efficient. Let's just say he goes up a little bit, right? Let's say he goes up, half to 1 assist a game. We're talking about 7 assists a game. That would put him at 10th, top 10 in the league. So I think he's right on where he should be. He averaged 6.8 in the playoffs, which put him at, I think, 7th overall in the playoffs. Defensively, I'd probably say that's where I'd want him to improve more. Not to say he hasn't been getting better every year. I think he has, and the coaching staff has said that as well. But if you look around the starting five, we have a lot of good defenders in our team. Even the PG, Caleb, and Embiid off the bat. Kelly being the other one who's really long. But if you look at the smaller guards around the league, even if we plan to do a lot of switching, he's going to have to guard those guys. He's going to have to guard Lillard in the playoffs. He's going to have to guard Drew in the playoffs. He's going to have to guard Brunson in the playoffs. Even if we have other guys on him, he's going to end up being on these guys, right? So he will need to improve just overall defensively for us to, I think, to take another step.
Well, when you say assists, I think if he plays in more of a playmaking role, the assists will go up. I do think with Paul there, his role needs to kind of change a little bit into more playmaking instead of more scoring. I think he tries to score and get assists from that. But I do think that he needs to kind of be more of a playmaker where you're initiating and putting yourself in a position where teams have to make a decision whether they're going to double you. And I think a lot of more maybe chasing matchups, more pick and roll where a guy struggles defensively in pick and rolls where you kind of single out guys. So I think a more constructive effort to attack defenses or teams individually. So that may come from the team. It may come more from Maxey. But I think kind of chasing situations and putting yourself in a situation where you're kind of playmaking a little more. I think the assists can come like that as well. Because I think what he's done in the past is he's just, I'm going to score. I'm going to go score, and then, scorers get assists. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get 5 or 6 assists if you have the basketball and you're able to make plays. So even though 6 assists is great, for nowadays, that's not really really good as far as playmaking. It's not bad, but it's not like you wouldn't be a guy that's considered a great assist guy. You know what I'm saying? When you have guys that are the top guys are doubling that pretty much, or close to doubling that. I think he can do that. I think he can put up the numbers that Trae Young put up. I think he's capable of doing that. Even though Trae Young is really, really good. I do believe that he's capable of doing that. But the question goes offensively: is he going to be less aggressive to make that happen? Less aggressive scoring to make that happen? Is he capable or able to maintain that same level of scoring and pick his assist up? I guess that's what remains to be seen. But I do think that the playmaking assist numbers, I expect them to go up. I expect that to happen. How much? Not sure, but I would rather see obviously rather see a increase instead of a decrease in that number.
Before you go to defense, I want to ask a quick question about that. Do you think Maxey probably has like maybe the hardest job as far as wearing multiple hats due to him having to kind of be probably the most facilitating person on the team as far as assists goes, but also stay aggressive scoring to be a threat. So he has to wear like multiple hats, right? Whereas everyone else is kind of like they have like their main role on the team that they need to do, right?
I mean, when you a top guy in the league, then this is what you have.
Yeah.
Is it any different than what Brunson is asked to do in New York? Probably less, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of his assists or lack of assists, as one could say, comes from the fact that the best player kind of gets his own shots a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like Joel don't really need at most times, he don't really need a pick and roll to get a shot, or he don't need you to play making to hit him and then he get a shot. Like he's more of an ISO post up, more so than he is catch and shoot or catch and play. So a lot of those assists, kind of the numbers can be kind of going down with that. So I play with AI, so I would pass the ball a lot to AI, but a lot of those points wouldn't be assists because he would make a move or catch or dribble and then score.
Yeah.
Versus playing, say, for instance, with Ray Allen, who's more of a catch and shoot guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. So you making the right play and you hitting the guy, but it may not always turn into an assist. So that's kind of a reason that numbers can kind of be lower too. We'll see if Paul could help that because he could catch and shoot, but he can also, catch and dribble too.
Yeah.
So, but defensively, I definitely need to see an improvement. I think he has to take the challenge to, at times, guard the top guys because a lot of times what you have, and the reason why I say that is a lot of times when you defend that top guy, most times if they miss, that top guy has to defend you. So they don't really cross match up a lot on misses. So now he's coming down and he has to defend you. So you have a chance to get him in foul trouble, make him work, do a lot of things other than him going and guard someone where he can just basically sit and help and kind of rest a little bit. So that will kind of put some pressure on guys who have to defend him also. Mm-hmm. But you got to be willing and ready to take that challenge. So I do think that he needs to kind of take that challenge a little more, get better on the pick and roll defense. That's something I see a lot of the guards struggle with in the league right now because they switch so much. Yeah. But I do think that, that right there, taking the challenge to do that and also kind of play bigger. Like if I watch Maxey defend, he almost comes off as a guy that's small, but he's taller than me, but he comes off as a small defender. You know what I'm saying? I know he probably wasn't as strong as I was as far as strength wise in holding off guys, but he does come off as a small defender, even though he's not.
He's pretty well built too. Actually.
That's what I'm saying. He's not a small guy for his position, but he comes off as small. And that kind of tells me that he's not an aggressive defender.
I mean, 6'2", 200, 205 is like a football player size almost. So
he's not. I mean,
that's not small.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw last year. We saw obviously increases in the assists from Maxey as well as Embiid. And Embiid said he wanted to be more of a playmaker last year. So do you think there's a possibility both those guys could have an increase in assists this year from last year to this year?
Say it again.
Do you think there's a chance that Embiid and Maxey can both have more assists than they had last year per game?
I think it's possible, but I think the thing that's going to really dictate that is, how well we kind of can take care of the basketball, and also if we kind of pick up our pace. I'm interested to see, and that's the question I don't know. I don't know how our pace is going to be with Paul and with Joel. I think that it's possible if we try to play at a faster pace, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the route. That's sort of a wait and see for me.
Yeah. So wait and see till the preseason game. Would that be something we'd see in a preseason game, Eric, to see if we're going to play with a faster pace? Would they practice that during the preseason games?
I would think you would want to kind of execute a little bit in the preseason. So I would think you would see it right away. The only issue is how much are they going to play? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it may be something you don't really see until, games really, regular season games start.